Firstly, diversity is important because it's the right thing to do. That's the first thing. Everybody who is talented and who is willing to work hard should have the opportunity to follow whatever career that they choose to. So it's absolutely the right thing to do. But when you look at the research that's been done over the past number of years, especially the McKinsey report, which demonstrates that companies who have diversity work better, perform better. So, you've got a diverse number of people around the table. It brings that diversity of thought, which enables innovation, enables creativity. And those companies actually have been demonstrated to perform at least 25% better than their competitors. So, it's not about ticking boxes and our CSR. Companies actually do perform better if they have diversity around their workforce.
And certainly, I absolutely echo what she said about diversity in perspectives and experiences. Perhaps sometimes the diversity debate becomes lost because we talk about, affirmative action for women or people of, like cultural minority backgrounds. And both, these hats I've worn all my life in the countries I've lived and grew up in. But actually, we want to talk about diversity in experiences and views. And I think those identities that I have as a woman of ethnic background in the countries I grew up in have shaped some of those views that are actually valuable. And
the last 2 years have given us some real positives in terms of the workplace, particularly in my sector. We are part of a world, an industry that required presenteeism. You had to be in the office. It was very much about working long hours. There was also a lot of travel and overseas visits in order to work on projects. And literally overnight, obviously, all of that stopped. And what we saw was the ability for the industry to continue to function and function actually very efficiently and effectively from home. And that enabled large sections of the workforce to actually engage more because there wasn't this requirement to be in the office, to work very long hours, to travel. And so what we have seen is that ability for women in particular to take on roles within the companies that perhaps previously they wouldn't have been able to do, but also people that perhaps have caring responsibilities or health issues to also engage. And that's been very positive. My concerns now are we're coming out of COVID, we're moving back into a situation where people are returning to the office. We need to ensure we don't switch off that pipeline. We need to provide that flexibility. We need to offer the opportunities to that wide diversity of employee to engage and participate.
This is a group of business leaders. The business case has been proven.
Yeah.
Case closed, okay? McKinsey, KPMG, so many organizations have proven that diverse organizations, diverse boards, diverse management teams are more successful. They build better products and services, they're more profitable. I think what we need to do is go deeper on, if we're all rational beings and get that, why is the needle not moving? Why are less than 1% of black female founders getting funding from VCs? What are the root causes of the problem? What's going on in the boardroom? What is the CEO of the company doing to really walk the talk? And I'm going to be very honest with all of you, there's too much talking the talk going on. There's too much BS from the people that I've met. When you look at their reports on diversity, when you look at this, you look at that, it's like, who is really driving the change? And I do really believe it has to come from the CEO, empowered by the board, so that she or he is seen by the rest of the organization as really believing in the diversity and inclusion agenda.
It's important that those who are making those decisions in the first instance have an understanding of why diversity, equity, and inclusion is important. They need to have an understanding of this. And going back to Russ's point about we know the benefits for our organisation, so why isn't this moving forward? I think that people don't have a full understanding of what these benefits really are, and that we allow, those at the top, allow the fact that they feel threatened to prevent their companies from progressing. So what we do need in the first instance is that understanding at the top table of what the real benefits are. When that happens, then it can start from the top down in terms of the culture around the organisation.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things building on that is recognising that perhaps those people that do have families and want a bit more flexibility, perhaps want a part-time role, they need to be considered in terms of development and promotion opportunities within the company, because a lot of the time they're the people that do suffer because they've chosen to maybe work remotely, work part-time. They're overlooked for promotions, which means naturally you've got fewer women climbing the ladder and then available for those board positions. We've got to look at the workforce differently and recognise what's wrong with having a leader that works part-time.
Exactly, yeah.
Why can't they?
But there needs to be a radical rethinking of organisation of work, performance KPIs for senior executives, and really changing the culture at the very top.